Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno, where we are currently working on some contracts here, and looks like we could do this fireworks contract. I mean, that's definitely a doable thing. 87.75, sure. He's going to be making these pay less and less, but I just want to get these over with, is the idea. So 87.55, we have 89.48, so we can just launch this as is. We're going to go a bit negative with these contracts, but I just want to get them wiped off of the progression. So let's get this done, and off we go. So 77 kilometers AGL seems easy enough. And let's just speed on through this on 2x. Wonderful. So we're just going to boom this as soon as we are high enough up, and it should all be good. Excellent. We're currently at about 10 kilometers, but of course we're going up faster and faster all the time. Until we run out of fuel, anyway. We appear to have drifted off to the side a little bit. What did that do to our apoapsis? I guess it's high enough. Okay. So, yeah, we definitely drifted some. That's probably due to the time boost, but that's okay. We're going to go up high enough. It's not a problem. We just got to go higher than 77, and that's absolutely okay. So here is 67 as of now. That's 70, 73, 74, 5, 6, and 7. Boom. Okay, so we lost money on that, but that's understood. And we're going to see if he has, how many more of these does he have? This is only 35 kilometers high, so we could actually carve off a fair amount of our thrust here. So we don't need quite this much. We can remove some fuel, cut this down to like a length of maybe 2 meters, something like that. I mean, that's going to save us some money. This is still going to be negative, but I don't care. This is irrelevant amounts of money. I just want to get the contract finished. So up we go, way higher thrust to weight, but we're also going to burn through this fuel much, much faster. Lock that velocity prograde for now, I guess. And we can see our apoapsis is up over 35. That looks good. Actually, it did not stay over 35. We lost too much due to drag. Okay, so we're going to have to throw in a little bit more. I want to actually undo an exit. We're going to have to throw in a little bit more fuel. That is understood. So we're going to pull this back and bring this up to like 2.5. That will likely be enough, and we'll just do something like that. Okay, let's launch this. That should do the trick. Up we go. We need to go higher than 35 kilometers, and I didn't check the boom power. Do we have enough boom power? That'll be interesting to find out. Our trajectory is currently indicating 35 kilometers now, and we're entering our throttle down phase, but this is more than enough altitude, I'm sure. There's a fair amount of drag there at first, but it looks like it's going to be good. So is this enough boom power? That's the only question at this point. So that's 34 and 35. That's plenty of boom power. Okay. So we will head on out of here. Of course, we are net negative from that. But now this guy wants us to send us up to 80 kilometers at ground level. And yeah, this is the same mission it was before, but this time it's only 20K. Well, that's fine. We are going to just reload our boom that we didn't actually save. And... what? That's interesting. Okay. That's very interesting indeed. Let's exit this designer and load game. This was only 26 seconds ago. Nope, this is still with this craft. Okay, we're going to have to start over with this, I guess. That's fine. So we pretty much know what we're doing here. We ditch these fins. I'm going to raise this guy up a bit. And we want this to have like 89.47 boom power is, I guess, fine. Then we're going to need an interstage to prevent fuel from flowing through. And I want that interstage to be at least this big, in theory. And then we put in another fuel tank here, and we stretch that down to be about 4 meters-ish. We put these guys on here, and hopefully that is basically a reconstruction. Apparently I didn't save the vehicle previously, but I'm just checking here to see what our DV is going to be. Apparently 0 meters per second. I doubt that somehow. Why is this not updating? I don't know. But whatever, we'll put this out on the pad and see if it goes. Ah, that would be why. Okay, well that makes sense. We're going to recover this craft. Actually, I just want to undo an exit. And we need to change our staging. For some reason, it is decided that the first thing that needs to be staged is the interstage. Actually, it just didn't even put it in its own stage. Okay, sure. That should work now. Beautiful. So that should be plenty of altitude, as well as, in theory, plenty of boom power. Okay, let's get this guy out of here. We're on 2x speed. Off we go. And we gotta raise ourselves up higher than 80 kilometers again. So I think that we have enough power to do that. We're definitely not going to be financially positive on these, but how many more of these fireworks missions could this guy possibly have anyway? I'm betting it's a lot. He probably does have a lot. So let's take a look at our current apoapsis, 24 kilometers. This might not actually be enough, and we're actually losing attitude a little bit. Yeah, this isn't enough apoapsis, so that is noted. Let's revert this back. We don't have the thrust to wait for it then. I wanted to reload the original rocket that we had here, but apparently that is not going to be a thing. So let's pull this out of here. Let's lengthen this tank up to be like 5 meters. Is this too tall for the village pad? No, remarkably. Okay. Let's try that one again. So off we go. We could put fins on it to prevent it from losing attitude, but I don't think that's a core issue here. We just need to dial back in the amount of thrust that we needed to get this back up to 80 kilometers. We had it previously, and apparently I didn't have a save of that, so that's, you know, exciting. So we're currently at 4 kilometers altitude, and we're going to need to bring this up to a fair amount more altitude than that. What is our current trajectory looking like? Apoapsis of 20. We're throttling down here, so I think that we don't have the fuel for this again. Yeah, we don't. Okay, so we're going to have to bring that back yet again. How much more fuel do we need in this thing? We could also just get more thrust to weight, I suppose. What's our overall height? 7.7 meters. So we could definitely get this a little higher. We could bring this up to like 6.3 would put us at 9 meters. And we need to be under 10, so we need to be at like 7.2 would be our maximum. This would be our maximum right here. We could also toss in another engine here, or even another ring of engines. But I'm just going to do the one, I think. And what's our thrust to weight? 1.27. It's not great. Let's see if that's enough altitude. I mean, 1.27 is definitely not amazing thrust to weight. Well, let's lift this thing right on off. Our surface velocity is not going up tremendously, but that's not, you know, shocking at all. Apoapsis is going up, and yeah, we're definitely lacking, I think, in thrust to weight. We just need to increase our number of engines on it if we're going to run this level of mass. But let's see what that apoapsis ends up being like. Our surface velocity is not very high. Our thrust is low. But I'm interested in seeing the final apoapsis here. I think that the ultimate issue isn't the amount of fuel. I think it's the amount of engine. We could boost up the size of these engines, actually, and that's probably the way to go. Yeah. So we're looking at somewhere around 40. Let's go ahead and pull that back, and we are going to just boost up the size of these engines. That'll be a doable thing. Boom, 150. Okay, now we're at 2.59 thrust to weight. We're going to lose a lot less mass due to gravity at this point. Up we go. Much faster off the pad. Way better. Yeah, I was just an issue of too little thrust to weight. That's fine. So we can see now that our apoapsis is going up way, 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 way faster, and that is ideal. The question is it going up fast enough? So that's 70. That's 80. Looks like it is fast enough. That's over 100. Looks good. So we're going to be detonating this as soon as we get up high enough. We've got a ways to go. We're currently at 50. And we need to be over 80. We're now up over 60. We are, of course, decelerating, which is fully expected. 75. And 80. 89.44 boom power. Perfect. So, I mean, we lost money on that. That's expected. We're now going to head back. Does he have more of them? Wow, he does. Okay. Let's get it over with. I just want to get these done. So we're going to put this out on the village pad. We're going to do exactly the same thing again. How many more of these does this guy have? Surely it's not very many, right? Surely not. So we need to go higher than 75 kilometers with this one. It's slightly less high. But I don't know. This guy is a little too obsessed with these fireworks. It's not profitable for us, but I just want to get them finished. So, of course, we know that our apoapsis is going to be plenty high for this. And let's just get ready to blow this up. Hopefully we don't need more explosive power than this. That would be awkward. So that is 60 kilometers, 65, 70, and 75 kilometers. 8660 boom power, plenty. Beautiful. So that is now done. How many more of these? Okay. Basically the same mission yet again. Surely he's going to run out of these eventually, right? Surely. So we'll go up higher than 80 kilometers at ground level, and I think we're definitely getting to the end of these missions. It's following a pattern where you go to a particular height repeatedly, and he reduces the amount of money he's willing to give you. I don't care about that, of course. We're doing this at a loss. But I do want to get finished with these contracts, and I think this will probably be the last one or very close to it. I really hope so. I'd like to move on. So we're, of course, going to detonate this once we get up over 80 kilometers. We're currently at 65, 70, 75, and 80 kilometers. Boom. Okay. We'll recover that craft. And how many more? 10 kilometers high. Okay. This is really low on the payment. And we only need 3162 boom power. So we can reduce our payload here. And this is going to go down to, we need 3162, so it would be like that. And then this could be connected back up. We wouldn't need anywhere near this amount of fuel. So we could bring this down to like 2 meters, like this. We just need to go 10 kilometers up. This is still going to not be positive, but it will at least save us some money. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I really just want to be done with this. So up we go, and we're going to boom this as soon as we're up over 10 kilometers. We're currently up over 5, losing thrust. That's expected. 8, 9, and 10. Boom. Okay, we'll end that flight. and we'll recover that craft. I mean, we're not recovering these crafts, but you know what I mean. So now he wants us to do one at 68 kilometers and with 8246 boom power. So we're basically going to put this back to where we were. That's okay. So we need 8146 boom power, which would be here. And then this guy is going to be brought up to like 6 meters or something. That's 6.3. That puts us at 8.96 meters. So we could bring this up to like that. That's 10.9 meters. We need to drop down to 7.3, I believe it was. Yes, right there. Okay, so we'll put this out on the pad. How many more of these fireworks contracts does this jerk have? Because this is a lot. We need to go higher than 68 kilometers at ground level. And we will definitely do that. So we've got enough explosive power, in theory, to do this. And we're going to detonate that as soon as we're high enough up. 68 kilometers. This guy is mildly insane, by the way. I don't know why we're accepting these contracts, other than I just want to complete all of the contracts. I don't think there's, like, procedurally generated contracts. I think these are all scripted. So that is the idea. I just want to get through the contracts. So we're at 58 kilometers right now. Now 65. And that's high enough. Boom. Okay. We're going to end that flight. Does he have more? He does. Of course he does. Okay, well, let's get this over with. How many of these does he have? Does this keep going forever? Maybe. I'm going to do a little research. Juno fireworks contracts. How many of these are there? Yeah, fireworks is a scam. I'm aware of that. That's obvious. But the real question is, how many of these does he have? Like, let's check the wiki here. So this is a career graph. Buck Marshall has a bunch of fireworks stuff, obviously. But are we high enough? No, we're 80 kilometers right now. Okay. So yeah, I'm aware that the fireworks contracts are a scam, but I want to get them done. Stuck in a repeating loop, huh? And then it resets to easy. That's interesting. So that's fine for now. Let's go ahead and detonate this. Are we reset at this point to easy? Let's see. This is apparently a bug report as of 1.6 years ago. It may have been fixed. So this is definitely easy. I am going to cancel this contract. Wait, we didn't get credit for this? 8944 boom power. That's why. Okay, sure. Well, we're going to start rejecting those contracts, I think, because I'm pretty sure we've actually gone through this. I think it's repeating at this point, is my current theory. Right, we're going to need to drop some height here. Is that enough height? Yes. Okay, so we're going to do that for now, and let's launch this guy. Now, the question is, how many of these are there? Is there like a list of the contracts? Maybe. Okay. Well, let's just lift ourselves up here, and the question is, can we get these contracts to stop appearing? That would be nice, because I'm a bit of a completionist, and if the contract is in the list, I'm going to want to do it. So that's going to be the core issue there. We have the boom power that we need here. So let's lift this up, let's complete this contract, and let's see if declining the next fireworks contract will get them to stop appearing. That would be nice. Okay. Wait, we didn't get credit for that? 8944 boom power. Why didn't we get credit for that? We had the boom power, right? 8947. We did not get credit. Why not? That's interesting. Let's take it up one more time. We may have hit a bug here, though. I'm not 100% certain. Let's see what we can find. So let's go this back up to 80 kilometers above ground level. But I detonated this. We had 8947. I believe we needed 8944. And it didn't give us credit. So let's just lift this up one more time, and let's see if this is bugged. That's 50 kilometers. 60. 70 kilometers. And we are up over 80 now. So we need 8944 boom power, which we've got 8947. And now it counted. Okay, I don't know what the difference was. I guess that was bugged. Cool. Well, it worked this time. So he's got this again. I'm going to decline this one. It will not be shown again, but you can unreject them at any time. Okay, let's get rid of that. I don't want to do it anymore. So now I want to start working on some of these small sats. So let's hop in here. I want to create a new craft, and we're going to want to have a payload for this, of course. So this is going to end up being a small sat, and there's not a payload there. I guess we need to accept the mission. That would make sense. So let's just do this singular small sat mission for right now. And the question is, what are we going to have for size of this small sat? Okay. We should probably have a fairing for this. So this is a nose cone. This is not a fairing. I'm assuming that there are fairings somewhere. So let's hop into the tech tree and let's see if we can find a fairing. Mechanical engineers would give us access to struts. I mean, that would probably be convenient, but we haven't had an issue with that thus far. So orbital maneuvers, old school. I'm wondering about... So soft landing, packing it tight. Fairing, nose cone, fairing base. That's what we're looking for. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to grab that, and we're going to hop in here. I do want to increase the size of our command disk a bit. Up to about here, I think. Maybe a little bit wider of a fairing size. Yeah, about like that for a small sat. And then we're going to want to put in a fairing base here. So that would go here. We would want to increase the size of this fairing base to be about like that. Then we're going to want to have a fairing. And we can move that up to be about like this. And then a fairing nose cone on top of that. Like that. So that gives us our fairing. Now this appears to be clipped together a little bit. So maybe our command disk would have to end up being a little bit taller. Let's get rid of that for now. Let's put our command disk to be about that height. So that way, we are still clipped. Okay, that's noted. So for now, this is probably reasonably okay. What is our target altitude? So this is not super high. 590 kilometers to 535. Noted. So I do think we're going to still have a liquid-fueled second stage here, and I think that this size is probably quasi-decent. I'm going to want to have a gnome engine here, not mounted like that, and we're going to want to definitely make this vacuum optimized. So we want to increase the nozzle length here, for sure, and we could also bump up the size. This is maybe a little too much. This is a lot too much. I want to put this size at maybe like 75%. Something about like that. So that's 3.54 kilometers per second once we get it lifted high enough up. Next up, we're going to put in an interstage here. About like that. That'll be fine. And then we're going to do another fuel tank down here. Now, our current height is 8 meters. So this isn't going to be great because, of course, this is the highest that it can be and still be on the village pad. So that is understood. We're going to need some rocket motors on here, solid rocket motors, and I'm going to put one in there. We're also going to bump up its size to as much as we can. And then I'm going to grab this guy, and we're going to do some radial symmetry. We're going to have 6 of these here, and we could do another one, but I don't actually want to do that right now. I want to put these about here. Now we can do another one, and this would be 6x symmetry, like that. Duplicating that, and this would also be 6x symmetry, like that. Okay, so this is already pretty expensive. It's also a little too tall. So we're going to need to take this guy off and move it down like that. And then we're going to need to say, well, this probably doesn't get high enough on its own. I do want to put in some fins on it. So we'll do something like that. And I'm thinking that we could move this to be about like that or so. And then we would put this in radial symmetry x4. Something like that to just stabilize us on liftoff. So that's all well and good, right? But I'm willing to bet that this is not good enough to get us up high enough for this engine to do anything useful. I'm going to save this as our small sat launcher, but this is not done as of right now. So let's put this out on the pad, on the village pad, because that's the cheapest. Has one or more issues. It is too tall. Oh, okay. We are at exactly 10 meters, and we actually need to drop that ever so slightly. Okay, that makes it even worse. I'm willing to bet this is not going to achieve orbit. But let's see. So for now, let's lift this thing off. We're going to have decent thrust to weight, for sure. But how high up is this solid rocket stage going to propel us? Well, actually, this burn time is a little longer than I expected it to be. Probably because we're a relatively wide fairing. This is actually kind of decent. That is noted. I actually want our heading to be at 90 degrees. And we're going to start pitching over to about 60 degrees pretty soon here. But we are losing speed. We can see that our apoapsis is at 35.9 kilometers. And we've definitely... Whoa. That's weird. We've definitely got ourselves some shock diamonds here. Okay, so the fairing ejected a little earlier than I wanted it to as well. So we've got some issues, no doubt about it. I want this to go up a little bit higher than it's going here. We've got a shock diamond there. The fairing was staging at the wrong time, so we should definitely consider the fairing as another stage here, and the fairing base would go here. So it would be something like that. So this worked better than I expected, to be sure. It wasn't great, but it worked better than I expected, for sure. So let's get ourselves a couple of side tanks here. So that's going to be a couple of side interstages. I'm going to put one here, and then we're going to put a fuel tank here. And this is going to be a fairly small fuel tank. We're going to do something kind of like that. We're going to put a nose cone on it. And then I'm going to grab these engines, and we're going to do that. And then we're going to do this, and I'm going to make it radial X6. Then I'm going to grab this part, and I'm going to make it radial X2. And we're going to do something like that. Now let's check our staging here. These engines are firing first, and then this on the interstage. What's that thrust to weight look like? 1.33. It's not great. I'm going to merge all of these together, and we're going to actually, we've reached our max number of stages, but that's fine. I just want to do this. There we go. That'll do for now. So let's put this out on the pad, and let's see how high up that takes us. Excellent. So that's definitely going to boost up our altitude. a fair amount. We're currently at an altitude of, well, an apoapsis of 10 kilometers, but we want to get up as high as we can here. I also want to move our pitch over to about 60 degrees because we are going orbital, but I don't expect this to really be able to do that very well. So that looks fine for now. Apoapsis of about 45 kilometers at this moment. Are these all tapering off at the same time? Kinda, yeah. This is not the order I expected these to finish at, but I guess it's okay. Sure. No shock diamonds, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and recenter this, and yeah, I think this is A-okay. We can see our time to apoapsis is going down right now, but this seems absolutely reasonable. Our apoapsis is still a little low, but it is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to do some changing around of our staging. That's very clear that that needs to happen. That was an awkward order. I was not expecting that order to be quite the way it was, so that's fine. But that will be a next episode sort of thing. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.